Myself Sticker from Aerobee section, and the topic for concept video of mechanics of solid is shear force and bending moment. When we talk about introduction, a beam is a structural member used for being load. It is typically used for resisting vertical loads, shear force and bending moment. A beam is a structural member which is acted upon by the system of external loads at right angles to the axis. The types of beams can be classified into many types based on three main criteria. They are as follow. Based on geometry: straight beam, beam with straight profile; curved beam, beam with curved profile; tapered beam, beam with tapered cross section. Based on the shape of cross section: I beam, beam with I cross section; T beam, beam with T cross section; C beam, beam with C cross section. Based on equilibrium condition, statistically determinate beams for a statistically determinate beam equilibrium conditions alone can be used to solve reactions. Statistically intermediate beams for a statistically intermediate beam equilibrium conditions are not enough to solve reactions. Additional deflection are needed to solve reactions. Based on the types of support, simply supported beam are cantilever beam, fixed beam, overhanging beam, and continuous beam. The last two beams are statistically intermediate beams. Types of load: point load or concentrated load, uniformly distributed loads, uniformly varying loads, externally applied moments. Types of support: simple support, roller support, hanged pin support, fixed support. Support Supports are used to provide suitable reaction resisting force to beam or any body. Following types of supports are used: simply support, roller support. When we see about simply support, it is hang over the support is been towards on a beam of, of at the edge where half of the part is been outside and the rest of the part is been towards the beam. Roller support. When we say the beam and the base, there is a between a roller balls is not a roller support. Hinge pin support. It is a sharp object, sharp pin like object which is supporting the beam with a sharp edge. Fixed fixed support, where the support is being fixed at for a wall or a base constantly. Shear force. Shear force at a section in a beam is the force that is trying to shear off the section and is obtained as the algebraic sum of all forces, include the reacting act normal to the axis of the beam, either to the left or right of the section. The procedure to find shear force at a section is to imagine a cut in a beam of a section considering either the left or right portion and find algebraic sum of all normal to the axis. Sign convention for the shear force: positive shear force and negative shear force. When we say about positive shear force, the red indicates to upwards and the yellow indicates to downwards. When the red indicates upwards and yellow indicates downwards, then it is known as positive shear force. The negative shear force, red indicates downwards and yellow indicates upwards. This is known as negative shear force. Bending moment. Bending moment at a section in a beam is a moment that is trying to bend it and is obtained as the algebraic sum of the moments about the section of all the force, including the reaction acting on the beam either to the left or right of the section. Sign convention for bending moment. The bending moment is considered as sagging bending moment if it tends to bend the beam to a curvature having convexity at the bottom as shown in the figure given below. Sagging bending moment is considered as a positive bending moment. When it is a consecutive, where the bending part is known as consecutive. Sagging bending moment means which is a stretchable bending moment or positive bending moment. Point of contraflexure is a point on the bending moment diagram where bending moment changes the sign from positive to negative or vice versa. It is also called as inflection point. At the point of inflection point or contraflexure, the bending moment is zero. Shear force diagram. A diagram in which the ordinate represents shear force and the abscissa represents the position of the section is called a shear force diagram. Bending movement diagram. Bending movement diagram may be defined as a diagram in which ordinates represent bending movement and abscissa represents the position of the section. SFD and BFD for the standard cases. Cantilever subjected to a point or concentrated load at free end. Uniformly distributed load over entire span. Uniformly varying load over entire span. Second, simply supported beam subjected to a point or concentrated load at a free end. Uniformly distributed load over entire span. Uniformly varying load over entire span. An eternal movement. Overhanging beam subjected to a point or concentrated load at a free end. Cantilever beam. A cantilever beam is one end is fixed and other end is free. Where we can see fixed end and the other end is been free, so that the weight has been added on towards the one end and the other end there is a fixed beam, fixed end. Example of cantilever beam is Rameshwaram bridge, where if the steamers goes, the train track the train tracks take up for a certain angle for the boats to go, and the rest and after leaving the boats the train tracks come to the same position. It's known as a cantilever beam, where one end is fixed and other end is been left freely. Bus stop shelter. Here we can see that one end is fixed like with a rod, and the other end is like a beam, where only one end is been fixed, so that the other end is been left off freely. Simply supported beam. A simply supported beam is the one end freely rest on the wall or columns. In all such cases, the reactions are always upwards. When we say simply supported beam, two ends are being fixed. Example: the above shaft could be a best example of simply supported beam. In that shaft, both ends are supported by bearings and two loads are given by a pulley, which could be taken a point load acting downwards. Overhanging beam. An overhanging beam is one which has a loads beyond the support, where we can say one end as towards other, one end is fixed towards end and other end is fixed in between. So this is known as overhanging beam. Example: car. When we say car, one end is one wheels are towards one end, front wheels, and back wheels are towards slightly not towards the back side to back end, it is slightly towards front. Thank you.